Well, hello and welcome to Morning Trade with Money Control. I'm Nandita Khemka and I'm here to help you navigate the trading day with actionable trading strategies, sectoral trends to watch out for, and of course your queries that we will be taking up during the course of the show. So if you have any queries, do send them in to us with the hashtag AskMC and we will have them addressed by our expert on the show. So keep commenting on our live feed and sending in your queries. But before we get our guest on board, let's see what the global handover is looking like this Monday morning. Well, Asian markets kick off the week on firm footing with the Nikkei and Kospi clocking modest gains in early trade. SGX Nifty, well, that is also hinting at a strong start above that 18,300 mark. Meanwhile, Brent crude cools off a bit after surging 5% on Friday amid uncertainty over US rate hikes. Wall Street clocked a smart surge on Friday, even though the Dow snapped a 4-week winning streak. Strength in jobs market left investors divided about the Fed's future rate hike path. Meanwhile, European markets ended higher on Friday with the ftse CAC index surging over 2% apiece. SBI reports blockbuster earnings in the second quarter as net profit comes in at a record high. Meanwhile, Titan, Indigo and NIIT are some of the other stocks that will be in the spotlight today. Let us now get going and discuss what the market setup is looking like this Monday morning. And we're joined by Raja Venkatraman of Neo Trader. Good morning, Raja. We managed to end last week with gains to the tune of 2% thanks to a smart surge on the Nifty in the last hour of trade on Friday. And the metals pack, well, that gained somewhere around 8% last week. And in this morning as well, the SGX Nifty is hinting at a start near about that 18,300 mark. So what are the levels that you will be watching out for the Nifty for today as well as this week?
Yeah, good morning, Nandita. This entire last week has been it's been dominated by Nifty, and the Nifty bullish overhang continues. And if you take a look at the entire movement which we have seen in the indices, it has been in fits and jerks, but yet the positivity continues. That's what is the relieving factor. And even despite a curtailed week, which we are seeing in this week, the SGX is opening with a gap up opening. So we are off to a good start today. But then what we need to see as far as the entire trend, which is driven, it is driven by the, options position. And in the options position, what are we finding is that there are some short puts as far as the Nifty is concerned, but at the same time, you are having some short call position in the bank Nifty. So there are some contradictory opinions which are being formed right now. Yes, the trigger has been the SBI results. So SBI results will definitely give some room to the bank Nifty. Bank Nifty has been a laggard, and that's the reason why you are seeing a very slow movement in the indices. Now, SBI results after being decoded, if Bank Nifty were to kick in, then you will see a very strong upside. Now, talking about the levels, what I envisage is that until Bank Nifty crosses 42,000 on the upside, you will see a very limited range-bound action in Bank Nifty. So on the upper bounds, you got 42,000 as a resistance zone. On the lower side, you got 41,000 as a support zone. In this vis-a-vis, in the same way on Nifty, you got 18,000 as the support zone and 18,450 to 500 as the resistance zone. So these are the zones which we are going to play out for this week. And it's been a result-dominated series so far. And it will continue to be the course of action, and all of us should focus on strong results, which is receiving good response from the market, and should participate in those names, because that's the play which is going to happen over the next few days, and that's what all the viewers should concentrate on.
Well, focus on strong results. Yes, SBI was one that reported record quarterly profits. I'll speak to you about that in details, but let me first go across to my colleague Aparna Iyer, who will be breaking down the numbers for us. Good morning, Aparna. Thanks for joining in. The elephant of the banking sector has started dancing. It's recorded record profit for the quarter gone by. Loan growth is at a 19-quarter high, and the asset quality has also seen some bit of an improvement. And the management commentary that has come in has also been pretty upbeat. Take us through the numbers and what really worked for SBI in the quarter gone by.
Morning, Amrita. Yes, as I think most of the brokerage reports will also say the elephant has started dancing. So, to some extent, SBI's performance is not overly surprising, but yes, the numbers have been very, very strong. Net profit growth has been 74%. It is the highest ever recorded. Operating profit has also been has also shown a growth of 66%. But the most positive was loan growth of 20%. Now, to put this in perspective, you have to see the size of SBI's balance sheet. A 20% growth on a loan book the size of 29 to 30 trillion rupees is no joke. It's like adding one whole bank's balance sheet in a quarter. So that has been a very strong performance metric from SBI. But yeah, clearly what has helped during this quarter is the improvement in asset quality. Gross NPA ratio is the lowest in a decade at 3.52%. The stock of loans is coming down. So in essence, SBI's assets are bringing in more money and NPAs that don't pay SBI anything are reducing. That stock is reducing. So what brokerages are looking at is that the return on assets for this bank is going to slowly inch to that 1% mark, which the management has been talking about in the past quarters as well. As you said, the positive commentary from the management is also going to help the stock a lot today. Chairman Dinesh Khara has forecast that credit growth will be around 16% for FY23. And the good part of this is that it's a very broad-based credit growth. They have seen demand, capex-related demand, not only working capital from the corporate side. Retail, of course, is going all guns blazing across home loans, across vehicle loans, across unsecured personal loans. All of those segments are growing.
So all SBI firing on all cylinders. Thanks a lot for joining in, Aparna, this morning and breaking down the numbers for us, and also telling us what the brokerages have given their verdict on the SBI's quarterly performance. Raja, coming back to you, SBI, well, that is up over 11%. In fact, over the last few months, and it's at record high, somewhere around 595 levels or thereabouts. Do you expect levels of 700 on the stock fairly soon?
Yeah, looking at the way SBI has performed over the last, say, maybe 2 to 3 months, it has been oscillating between 600 to 500. Now, what has happened in the interim period is that it has formed a nice rounding pattern in technical parlance, and rounding pattern at higher levels definitely augurs well for the chart. And now there are some positive news flows which are coming in terms of strong result flow of the Q2. So all this in combination could definitely take it towards 700, and it's a good trading as well as a momentum investing bet. And if this were to kick in, now you will see all the other PSU banks also showing some sprite. We have already seen Can Bank. So I think that SBI and Can Bank together can really give some good leg up to the PSU sector itself in the banking.
Right. Staying with the PSU banking pack, Bank of Baroda also reported its quarterly show on Saturday. Profits have jumped over 50%. There's been a drop in provisions, and global deposits and advances have also seen healthy growth. Now the shares are up somewhere around 7% over the last 1 month or so. So in tandem with SBI and Canara Bank, you expect this counter to do well as well going forward? Yeah,
like I said, that entire PSU banking space is looking good. The only caveat here is that Bank of Baroda been not so heavily patronized by even the FIs as well as the DIs. That you need some heavyweight participating in the stock, and that's where SBI cuts over Bank of Baroda. Overall, Bank of Baroda looks to be moving up, but then the upward drive is more labored. So I would be definitely a buyer in SBI compared to Bank of Baroda. And overall, in the PSU segment itself of the banking space, Can Bank and SBI have the best chart structure, and those are the ones which one should concentrate on. Any reaction is always advisable to buy into these stocks.
Right, SBI Can Bank looking better than Bank of Baroda at the current juncture. Moving on to the consumption basket, Titan reported a 30% jump in profit in the quarter gone by. But when you look at the stock, it has been fairly volatile over the last 5 days. It was on the verge of breaking below that 2700 mark as well, but it managed to come back around that 2770 mark. What is the next level that you will be watching out for on this counter, Raja?
So Titan has been doing well, and if you see over the last few weeks, the stock has spent in a strong consolidation. So now with good numbers also stepping in, I would need it to move about 2800 to really make a case out of it. Otherwise, the structure seems to be tiring out, if I were to say. And I would not be a buyer in Titan until it crosses 2800. Well, if it crosses 2800, then it becomes a very good buy possibility. So once you track these levels, Titan is on my tracking list, not on my trading list.
Okay, Titan on the tracking list, not on the trading list. Moving on to the aviation basket. Indigo's Q2 loss have widened. First it was the pandemic, then it was high fuel prices. Stock has been witnessing some kind of a turbulence. YTD it is down somewhere around 10% or so. How much more downside from here, Raja?
Yeah, so even though the domestic travel has seen a spike, considering the other kind of hindrances which are emerging on the international space, the price action of Indigo doesn't seem to be going up. However, I would add a disclaimer here that this stock is definitely trading at supports. So unless it goes below 1730, I would not be a seller in Titan. I would wait for it to move above 1800 to 1820 in the near term, give an end of day closing, and then I would be a buyer in Titan. So Indigo is trading at supports, and one should definitely, this again, you offered me a stock which is on my tracking list.
Right. The next one on my list is NIIT. Well, it has acquired a US-based St. Charles Consulting Group, and the acquisition has totaled over $23 million. Now, the stock has literally halved when it comes like if you look at the last 6 months chart. And from levels of 535, it has come down to somewhere around 270 or thereabouts. So, do you expect this stock to reverse course and move up from here, or do you expect more downtrend to continue?
The chart structure of NIT has been quite damaging. The overall IT space itself has received quite a bit of decline. So any rally here on would continue to witness some supply. So I would not be a buyer in IT. I had suggested this even earlier too. You may see a brief relief rally which will come up, but then overall there seems to be some pressure which is going on in IT. So I would stay away from the IT sector from a buying perspective. And I would look at shorting candidates from the FNO side if I were given an opportunity.
Right. Won't be a buyer in the IT pack as of now. Moving on to the queries segment, we've been getting quite a few of them this morning. Starting off with the metals pack, Vish KL has written in, and he has a query on Tata Steel. Well, the stock has been in a steady uptrend. I think it's gained somewhere around 4% or so. In fact, the entire metal basket has been fairly buoyant. What would you advise him to do, Raja?
Yeah, Tata Steel has been a good performer. Yes, post its split, the stock has been trying to give some leg up, but then it's not a very swift mover. And overall, the price action seems to be more of a range-bound candidate. So if you are already invested into Tata Steel, that's not a problem. You can continue to hold on because the breakdown levels are much lower, so you don't have to worry. But then if you're going to freshly invest into Tata Steel, I would wait for it to cross 110. Otherwise, it continues to be in a range-bound manner. So instead of Tata Steel, you could look at some names like Jindal Steel, which is very good in its chart structure. You could look at Vedanta, which is very good in its chart structure, as a good buying candidate.
Right. Vedanta, Jindal Steel appear to be good buying candidates. Moving on to another counter, it's Aditya Birla Fashion. Vignesh Salyan has written in and he wants your view on this counter. This stock fell somewhere around 6% last week, even though over the last month it has seen last 6 months rather, it has seen fairly good gains of 25% or thereabouts. But in the last 1 month or so, it has come under pressure. So investors who already have this counter, what should they do with that one?
Yeah, so the Aditya Birla Fashion has seen a fantastic move in the last few weeks, and currently after its upward drive towards 340 levels, what the stock is experiencing is some steady supply at higher levels. So if it were to move below 320, then I would not hold on to the stock, because beneath 320, it could experience some strong exits from the holders, and that could take it right down all the way towards 280. So I would not be a holder below 320. So you can place a stop loss below 320 and hold on to the stock.
Right. The next one is coming in from Sudha K, and she wants your view on NTPC. Now the stock has seen a fair bit of uptick over the last 1 month, but she wants to know whether she should hold this counter or exit.
Yeah. So the entire energy sector, especially the power-driven side, has witnessed a lot of SOPs from the government, and NTPC definitely is having a lot of encouragement in terms of the price and the news flow. So I would continue to hold on to NTPC. It's a hold from my side. You can keep a stop below 160 and continue to hold on to this position, because I see a target of around 300 within the next 3 months.
Right, target of 300 within the next 3 months. Moving on to the next one, this is coming from the gaming side of the business. Rahul Das has written in, he wants your view on Nazara Tech. He's bought 1,000 shares and he wants to know whether he should look at averaging out or avoid it completely. The stock is down somewhere around 7 to 8% over the last 5 days or so. Over the last month also, it has seen a fair bit of downtick. What should he do, Raja?
Yeah, like I mentioned, the technology stocks are not able to generate enough upward drive. Whatever upward drive we are witnessing is only based on some bit of averaging which people are doing. So I would advise an exit from Nazara Tech, because the stock's positioning is not very exciting. The sector itself is not exciting at the moment. So I would not be a buyer in this space.
Right. Avoid Nazara. And Raja is advising against buying this counter. Next one is coming in from Kishore, and he wants your view on alembic Pharma. Should he enter at current price?
So when you take the entire pharma pack, right, they have witnessed quite a bit of reaction, and alembic Pharma has come down by more than 50%. Now, after coming down by 50%, it has come to a very good support point. So this is a good query which has come in alembic Pharma. The sharp reaction which we have seen last week is probably indicating some strong bit of volume coming in at lower levels. So one could be a buyer at current levels, use a decline towards 600 to 610 as an additional buying opportunity, and look for an upward drive towards 850 to 875.
Right. The next query is coming in on Suzlon. Jitendra Verma has written in. What would you advise him to do on this counter, Raja?
In Suzlon, I got only one answer: stay away.
Okay, stay away from Suzlon. Moving on to the next one, which is the last one for today. The Adani Group stocks. Well, Shikhar Gupta has written in, and he wants your views on this this group of stocks. But in the entire Adani basket has seen a phenomenal run when it comes to this entire year. What would you advise investors to do with these stocks?
See, the case with Adani Group is that the entire pack is witnessing some phenomenal run. If you observe the charts of the movement which we saw on Friday of Adani, it shot up by 7%, Adani Enterprise. It rigged up the strong moves in Adani Ports as well. So Adani Group is a very, very prolific group, and they have all their counters across the board. They tend to perform well, and it's not like the other groups where only one stock performs in isolation. Now, coming to its valuation, if you take a look at the valuation, then you always will factor that, yes, it is overvalued. You will read various sets of reports which will compare the Adani Group stocks with the other group stocks and say it is overvalued. Now, when you're going to participate in the market, you got to realize that overvaluation will happen, but then you got to respect what the market is willing to do. And right now, market is willing to reward whoever is participating in the Adani Group stocks. So yes, you got to participate with a understanding that there is going to be some risk involved. So if you participate with that factor, then Adani Groups are the best stock to be trading in right now, to be investing in right now, and in short, to make money right now from the market.
Right. Well, this wraps up our query segment for the day. But before I let you go, Raja, leave us with some stocks that you're recommending for our viewers today.
So the stocks which I will recommend is definitely once again on the long side. So I would recommend a buy in Asian Paints. After the decent decline which it witnessed, it's made a nice base, and it's coming out of the base. We saw a good move on Friday too. So I would be a buyer in Asian Paints at around 3,200 with a stop at 3,175 for an upward drive towards 3,235 to 3,250. The other stock which I will recommend is from the metal space, and I would like to go in with a long in JSW Steel at 707 with a stop at 698 for a target of 720 and 728.
Right. Asian Paints and JSW Steel are some of the recommendations from Raja. Well, with that, thanks a lot for joining us this morning, Raja. We look forward to having you on the show once again later sometime. Well, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Morning Trade. But don't go anywhere, because coming up next is Markets with Santo and CJ.